Every once in a while, the legacy media is forced to tell the truth based on the overwhelming facts on the ground. This Oscars weekend is one such time. Captain America Brave New World is performing anything but bravely, and now the news outlets are stuck reporting what we've said all along. Today, though, we'll go one step further. It's time to explain why Captain America 4 failed and how it's all based on the stories we tell. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the place that considers the stories we listen to, live by, and tell to our future selves to be one of the most important things out there. Yes, indeed, folks, the reason that we cover entertainment with a passion is because we believe they really and truly matter. And if you'd like to have any indication of just how much the stories matter, we'll take a look at how we tell the tales all around world events, world politics, and as we tell the tales to the kids growing up, trying to install the values and instill the traditions we wish for them to have. Folks, as we get ready to dive into what made Captain America Brave New World do so badly, click the like button, and here we go. Out of The Hollywood Reporter by Pamela McClintock, box office, Captain America leads slowest Oscar weekend in years. Last Breath opens to 7.8 million. With no new big titles in the marquee, and most of the top nominated pictures now available in the home, Marvel's superhero pick easily stayed atop the chart in its third outing with $15 million. And if you ever have a weekend where anything easily stays ahead with $15 million, you've got a $15 million problem at least. Oscar weekend was a bust at the box office this year. Overall, domestic revenue is estimated to come in between $56 million and $57 million, the lowest by a long shot in at least a decade, according to ComScore. This excludes the year the awards show was delayed to early April because of the pandemic. The reason for this year's drought? A lack of new event product and the much debated performance of Marvel's Captain America Brave New World. Debate it no more, folks. That debate is out the door. And nearly all of the top Oscar nominees are now available in the home or long done with their theatrical runs, which would assume, by the way, that as the Oscars happen, that's now an event and people would go back and watch the movies to prepare for the event. But I don't think the Oscars plays that way anymore. Brave New World had no trouble staying atop the chart in its third outing with $15 million for a domestic total of $163.7 million and $341.8 million globally. And guess what? When we told you that $400 million was looking way out of reality, well, it turns out we were the ones speaking to what reality truly is. This is not something that the legacy media outlets like The Hollywood Reporter ever saw coming because they don't have their ear to the ground. They don't have their finger on the pulse of society. Now, folks, if you want to double check us, go back to the very first weekend, 2 weekends ago, when Captain America Brave New World came out. Check out my Twitter feed, and you're going to see that I said my sources were saying that $400 million was looking less and less likely. All you have to do to figure out how $400 million is out of grasp now, although Disney can leave it in the theaters for as long as they want, and they'll hit the 400 that way if they want to, but it's still embarrassing nevertheless. The reason that $400 million is out of reach in a normal theatrical window is because all we have to do is take this into halves, right? So if it gained 15 million, and let's say it gained 30 million worldwide, 15 million domestic, 15 equal international. We don't have the international numbers yet. We won't for a day or two, but let's say it's a 1-to-1. Then that's 30, right? Okay, so we're at 341. Next weekend, if it drops 50 more percent, we're down to 15. Another 15% after, or another 50% after that, you're down to 7. And at that point, it's a trickle, right? That's the 5-week mark, and then you're at a trickle. And then, if they want to let it sit out there and gain 3 million every weekend for as long as it takes to get to 400, they can do that. But in terms of a normal theatrical window, $400 million is looking increasingly difficult to do. All right, now, some have said that it's going to get to 450, and my prediction on this is that it's up to Disney, right? Disney is in the driver's seat as to where they want this to end. But if it sits out there week after week after week, making 2 million, 2.5 million, whatever, are we really going to applaud that? Like if they give it a longer theatrical window just to trickle in to 420, 430, like, is that going to be really impressive? No, but it might be narratively. And I want to show you this. And that's really good. What I want to talk about to you today is the narrative that surrounds all of this, the stories that we tell. I'm going to show you in just a second how the game is played. It says the lingering question, can it hold on like Mufasa the Lion King? or will it ultimately be deemed a disappointment? Now, the reason this is being presented to you in this way is because they want you to believe that Mufasa legged out to a victory. Now, of course, we know that's not true. And we know that because a VIP article over on thatparkplace.com, by the way, if you'd like to be a VIP member of thatparkplace.com, it's only $5 a month, says Mufasa, the very expensive flop for Disney, how bloated budgets mean billion-dollar blockbusters are required. This article explains exactly how much The Lion King Mufasa likely costs and why it's a flop. And it breaks it down in high detail with great specificity and brings the receipts. It's a different story than the one that the Hollywood Reporter is telling you. And it turns out that the world is based on the stories that we tell, right? There's a battlefield out there right now for the stories that we tell. And this tells me, when I look at the stories that are being told, why Captain America Brave New World failed so badly. I'll come back to that in just a minute. Let me show you, though, the battlefield, okay? Let me give you two examples of the battlefield right now. Currently, there's this huge push from certain parts of society to make sure that the Tesla Cybertruck will fail. Now, some of you out there think it's ugly. It looks like a refrigerator on wheels. Some of you out there think it's cool and it looks like a UFO. That doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is I'm watching what's happening from a geopolitical standpoint. And I promise, folks, I'll tie this back in. Trust me on this. Just go on the ride with me for a moment. There are those in society right now who don't make sure that Elon Musk does not succeed in cornering the EV truck market. And so there are these stories out there about Cybertrucks. Let me show you the difference in the stories, right? So from Teslarati, Tesla Cybertruck earns 5-star safety rating from NHTSA, right? That's the highest safety rating. Essentially, the National Transportation Safety Advisory, or it's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They did the tests. They've determined that the Cybertruck is the most safe truck on the road that you can buy. And it's one of the most safe vehicles you can possibly buy. And by the way, it doesn't destroy, other vehicles or pedestrians in a way that's abnormal from other vehicles. There's a completely other story, a different story out there, though, right? So look at this, 93,000 views. And there's this person, Eden Riley, right? We're not trying to pick on Eden Riley, but for a different clientele who wants to listen to a different type of story, the Cybertruck 1 year later, still dangerous. And you can see all these pictures, right? And you all know that the battlefield of storytelling is real, right? You know that because you read the news and you see that the news is bifurcated into different groups. For example, you all probably saw Trump and Zelensky, right? You saw this. You saw the meeting, and some of you watched the entire thing. Some of you watched the curated clips siloed into exactly what the news wanted you to know, but some of you watched the whole thing. And depending on the stories that you tell yourselves in your own life, and depending on the stories that you enjoy hearing from the news, you probably have a very different take on what happened than people who enjoy the other side of stories. So some of you think that Zelensky, is a hero, and some of you think Trump is a hero, and some of you think somewhere in between. And it all comes down to the stories that you are interested in and that you listen to. All right. Are you ready for me to tie this back into Captain America Brave New World? It felt like I was going off on a crazy rabbit trail for the minute. But guess what, folks? We're going to win it. We're going to win it. I promise. That's why you come to this channel, because you know we can do this. What was the story that was told for Captain America Brave New World? Think about that for a minute. Some of you didn't go see this. Most of you, according to the box office numbers, did not go see this. Think about it. You see, the entire reason for entertainment, and the reason that we do what we do every day here on this channel, is that entertainment's, the goal of it, the goal of entertainment is that in this story, this deluge of stories that make up your life, entertainment is the way in which you navigate a world of danger or of strife, and at the same time, you're divorced from it in terms of the impact it will have you in real life. So in the hero's journey, you go on the journey, but you're not there when the dragon nearly devours you. But at the same time, you learn. And so you can go back to the campfires and the shaman who tells the stories about how the woolly mammoth was taken down. And you listen to those stories as a 5 or 6 year old right around the campfire in ancient times, and you were there. You fought the woolly mammoth, right? We can do that with any number of things, right? That's the point of story. It's to go on a journey that you cannot go on, or perhaps you should not go on until you've heard the story. You do this still, by the way. If you have a child, there's a good chance you've told them the story of the little red hen or some other fable or quick, fairy tale. And the reason that you tell the story is not just because it's fun time telling the story. You tell the story because embedded in the story is the value and the virtue that you wish to give to the child. Children don't, it turns out, enjoy reading straight manuals. You don't just hand a child an ethics manual and then they just program themselves. You tell them the little red hen, and that teaches them about delayed gratification, right? That's the way it works. So what is the story of Captain America Brave New World that provides some value that would entice you then to go on an adventure? Well, there is none. The story originally was a repudiation of Trump and Trumpism and Trump followers and some sort of bridge to bring them back in their defeat to be part of American society again. Well, that turned out not to be the political landscape that Marvel envisioned happening. So then that story didn't work. Then it became something that was more neutral, and you saw that in the TV show, but it was still mixed up and sort of a malaise about race relations in America. And that didn't work. And after test screening, what they came out with was a big pile of mush. And if you go watch the movie, you can't tell, what is this supposed to tell me about? What is the lesson to be learned? Cherry blossoms. That's all I could figure out from it. If you ever went on a stroll through cherry blossoms with one you loved, you can be brought back from being a Hulk that way, I suppose. There's no clear message. There's no clear reason to partake in the adventure that Anthony Mackie goes on. And that's why there's no clear reason for the box office to do any better with Captain America Brave New World. And by the way, the story that was can no longer be with the mainstream media. They wanted this one to be a win. They're trying to tell you that Mufasa is a win. That's a story, but it's not based on fact. And it's up to you all to be savvy enough to know when the legacy media is just misleading you, whether intentionally or unintentionally, as you wade through the stories that happen, right? Because you live in a world in which the Cybertruck, that crazy-looking box-like PlayStation 1 vehicle, is either the deadliest menace to society or it's one of the safest vehicles as ranked by a huge survey by which we rank all vehicles, right? One of these things is true and one is not. Lion King is either a flop or it's a huge success. Anthony Mackie, well, he's just a failure this time. And unfortunately, so is Harrison Ford. Although we wish Mr. Ford well, he's got shingles. And that's not a pleasant disease to have. We wish him well, send him prayers this weekend. But the story is so bad for Captain America Brave New World that they cannot flip it this time. They cannot spin it. And the question is, how much longer until that's the case for all of Disney? Folks, that's the commentary for today. We hope we gave you analysis that benefits you, gives you value for the day, and makes you walk away just a wee bit smarter than you were before. Thank you for giving us the honor of a lifetime of getting to share time with you. If you enjoyed this, click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below and let us know your thoughts. And folks, we'll see you a little bit later today if you're watching this video at the time of release. Live coverage of the Oscars on the Valiant Renegade channel. I'll be there as a panelist, as usual, on a Sunday evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, until the next time we have time to be together, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh, I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid. There is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed, so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.